All right, we're going live right about now. All right. Larry, please confirm that we are also streaming live on YouTube for anyone who is unable to join us on um on Zoom right now. Okay. My screen is coming up. All right, all right, all right. Can you all see my screen? Can I get some confirmations in the room, please? Hello, hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? Hi, Ayo.
Yes, ma, we can hear you.
All right, thank you so much. So we have our facilitator today taking us on the topic stakeholder engagement. First of all, I'd like to pause to remind us why we are having this class. I'm sure that you've already seen content about it, but just to remind everyone who's on the call, we're having this class on stakeholder engagement because we understand that for anyone who's going to be doing a change project, for anyone who's going to be on the advocacy track, you have stakeholders that you have to engage in your journey to being a change leader in Nigeria, in Africa. No matter what change you want to make, there are people whose lives depend on that change, either the outcome of the change or the fact that you're not doing it at all. There are people whose lives are at stake on it, and there are people who can support you on that journey. So we've brought a professional who knows a lot about stakeholder management to speak to you today about what that means, what it means to manage your stakeholders when you're planning a project, when you're planning to say we no go gree, or how do you bring everyone together to say, okay, these are the people who are not agreeing with us, something like that. So I will take no further time. I will introduce our facilitator for today, Ms. Ayomide Ladipo. She is the head of Tracker at Budget. She's a program manager, writer, and researcher. Her work is at the intersection of project management, storytelling, and research. Over the past 6 years, her work has majorly spotlighted the plight of vulnerable people in low-income communities, amplifying their voices, providing civic education, and improving their understanding and participation in governance while developing structures that advocate for quality education and primary health care in underserved areas. Sayomide is a graduate of mass communication from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and she has over 6 years of experience working in the nonprofit sector, managing projects funded by European Union, MacArthur Foundation, Ford Foundation, and Luminate. She has also been published in the national dailies and has strengths in project management and creative writing. You can agree with me that there is no other person more qualified to take us on this journey. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen all the while, but I have read Ms. Ayomide's profile, and you can agree with me that there is no other person who is more qualified to take us through this course on stakeholder management today. So please, with a round of applause, a very big round of applause, please make welcome Miss Ayomide Ladipo. Hi, Miss Ayomide, just checking that you are here and you're able to turn on your camera. Hi, Miss Ayomide. All right. Okay, I'm going to spotlight you right now. You're still muted, but I'm going to spotlight you so that
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we just get to start like that. Okay, that's nice. Good evening, everyone. Um, Hope we met so far. Yeah, it's nice to be here. I think our time has reduced a bit because we started late. Well, for me, it's great. It's more time to go and do TGIF. Today I'll be talking about stakeholder engagement and management. And while naturally stakeholder engagement, it looks like, okay, it's just another thing in the room. But if there's anyone here that's had to manage people, you'll know that it is one of the hardest tasks ever on your side, getting people to believe in your vision, getting people to buy into whatever you are doing. And that is what stakeholder management is all about. Getting all the different people that have interest in whatever work you're doing, that anything they do, you push the needle further, getting them to buy into what you're doing for success. So my class will be a bit, I'm just going to run off through the slides and give some practical examples where possible. I would like questions and all that from different areas. Anything you need to expand on, questions. I would have liked that people introduce themselves, but I think we're a lot and time is gone, so we cannot have that. Do I share my slide or you share it, Ujoma? I'm
Please,
sorry,
you
I
can
was.
carry on. No, it's okay. You can carry on with sharing your slide. Yeah.
Oh, when you were asking for it, I thought you were going to share it.
No, just so that you work at your pace. I just also
Enough.
wanted to share with the students as well. Thank you.
Okay. So just give me a minute. This way. Yeah, apologies. I would have opened this, but I thought that we're going to have it on this and we'll just do that now. Share screen.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, almost done. Hello. Okay. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. You can put it on
Can anyone see my screen?
yes, I can. You can put it on slideshow so that yeah, it's good
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it's good. It's good now.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm just going to run through and then we can have our questions and most likely take some practical examples. So running through a stakeholder, who is a stakeholder? Simply a person, anybody, group or organization with vested interest in the decision making or the activities or the development of a community business or project. Right now, I am a stakeholder in this program because at this point in time, at a point in my calendar this week, I knew that I had to be on this session. Leap Africa also knew that they were expecting me on this session. So in any case, if I did not come or I was not able to be present, something would happen, something would change. So that makes me a stakeholder. I might not be as much a stakeholder as any other program officer there, but I am also a stakeholder. And my non-involvement in this program at a time might cause slight distress or slight issue, would also move the program forward. So there are things that sometimes, and I want us to note, it's easy for us to lose sight of some stakeholders because they're not obvious. And that is why at the beginning of any project, when you are mapping, you need to like take a seat, like do a sit down, almost like a brainstorming session, just for stakeholder mapping. They call something stakeholder mapping. It's very important. Think of all the very important, which that one is always obvious, and all the very not important people that would matter in your project. Might be down to your vendors that you want to purchase things from, because when push comes to shove, you know that they are very important. might be down to, okay, I'm seeing something in the chat. I hope. Oh, sad. Okay. Is this still not big enough or clear enough?
I think you're probably also having a bit of an issue with your network, so you might consider taking off your video so that at least the screen, yeah, so that we are managing the bandwidth.
Okay, give me a minute. Let me change my internet. Let me switch my internet. Okay, can anyone hear me now? Okay.
Positive, positive.
Perfect. I switched my internet. I hope it's better now. Yeah. Also, okay, thank you. Yeah, I was talking about when you're starting any project, it's nice that you take a sit down. Sometimes it might look like, oh, you're going on a futile exercise, or you're just wasting time. But it's very important to be able to narrow down from your most important to your least important stakeholders. And from there, you'll be able to have like a 360 view, like a drone view of whatever you want to do. You're able to have a drone view of how each person would contribute, how you'll be able to interact with each person and bring them into play. It is not when you're halfway into the project, then somebody tells you, then you remember that, oh, you should have brought this person in from the start, or you should have talked to this person, or you should have done that. And by the time you now want to start, that you might meet up, but you have lost some momentum that you could have avoided if you had seen it from the start. So a stakeholder, forget the big word, a stakeholder is anybody. For instance, in your house, let's say in your house, as simple as possible. In your house, your stakeholders, of course, the people living there, the neighbors, if you have pets, your dogs, your stakeholders also involve if you have people that supply you things or people that repair when things get spoiled, people that repair things, they're also stakeholders in your house. And even the animals in your house, let's say rats, if you have rats or you have cockroaches, they are stakeholders because they have the power to make or mar. You know, everybody that is involved in something that can contribute to the forwardness or backwardness of something is a stakeholder. So what you do is identify those ones that can contribute, that can impede your success and mitigate that, and also identify those that can push your success forward and also work on that, take advantage of that. So that's a simple example of who a stakeholder is. Next thing is the types of stakeholders. Now you have the government stakeholders. So this type of stakeholders is not exhaustive, but it's just like the major ones that you would encounter based on this context, which is about project management, community development, community advocacy, and all that, whatever you're involved in. So you have the government stakeholders. They are very, very, very important, cannot be overemphasized. You have your community stakeholders, and now your community stakeholders consist of the community leaders, development associations, youth groups, market groups, women groups, pressure groups, media groups, all of them. They are part of your community stakeholders. You have your religious stakeholders, and you also, oh, And then you have all the other stakeholders. They don't fall in a particular category, but then these are the major ones that fall into major categories. I would have said also the media is also a very huge stakeholder that you need to pay attention to. It's not on the slide, but the media is a huge stakeholder that you need to pay attention to for the success of whatever you want to embark upon. Now, to the, if I'll say the meat of the issue, which is how to effectively engage and build relationships with stakeholders, because that is essentially stakeholder management. Can anyone still hear me? I hope I'm not lost.
We can hear you loud and clear. We only wish we can see. I think the students are joining via a phone, so
Okay,
they can't
fine.
really see. Yeah. Can you put it on slideshow? The presentation.
It's not on PowerPoint. That's the problem.
Oh,
The PDF.
oh.
Yeah. So it will work on slideshow.
Okay, that's fine. We were sharing it on the Zoom, on the Telegram link anyway, so they will find it. So you can go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Should I leave my video on or put it off?
Any way that works for you. I think we'd
Okay.
like to see your face. Thank you.
Just let me know if there are any network issues and I'll course correct.
No
Thank you.
issues. Thank you.
So how to effectively engage and build relationships with your stakeholders. One of the most difficult stakeholders you encounter, and they're the ones that we'll focus on in this class, is the government stakeholders. And so every time people meet anyone anywhere, pressure groups, advocacy groups, media, everybody, the most difficult people we have to work with is government. And of course, it's also because of the context of our country. Everybody in government feels like they're in charge. They want to hide things from people. They feel like it's a patriarchal relationship, parent, child. They see us as the children. So they have almost all the power. The dynamics is a bit skewed, regardless of how much you might be bringing to the table, because they have the power to make or mar whatever you're doing. So they are the most difficult stakeholders that you have to manage. And so managing them sometimes requires a bit of trick, requires, it's almost like managing somebody with an ego, managing an egotistical husband. You know, every time you have to sometimes tiptoe around them, not make them angry, make them happy, and all that. But it's the work you have to do. You cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it because of the institution of governance. So the first thing I would always like to say when people are going into, when you need government buy-in, is that you understand their priorities. And what do I mean by understanding their priorities? Every government, some more clearer than others, but every government has their priority focus. For instance, if I talk about a state government or a state governor that has their focus on agriculture, which state will come to your mind? I would like to have responses. In Nigeria, a state that has been big on agriculture and pushing for agriculture, which state will come to mind? I want responses, please. Somebody said currently is 90 states. I like that. Two people said Benue. One person says Kebbi. Yeah. So my first thought would be Niger State, because the governor is in the news for a lot of things, but majorly about him being focused about mechanized agriculture and all that. And so you know that this everybody's just mentioning their states. Okay. Maiduguri, Cross River. Maiduguri, where do you people want to do agriculture in Borno State? Anyways, you would see that Mohammed Bago is the governor of Niger State. Everywhere he goes, talks about agriculture. He has launched some extra, what's it called? Tractors, all those things. Either they work or they don't work. But the thing is that you have been able to identify that these governments, their direction is agriculture, their priority is agriculture. And now anything you want to take to his government, for anything you want them to buy into, you have to be able to find how to tie it into their vision. You necessarily don't have to create something from their vision. You don't have to let them direct you. Do what you want to do. But what you need to do is for you to understand what is their priority and tie your work to their priority. How does your own work advance their own agenda? How does it advance their priority? If you do that, it will be easy for them to buy into whatever you want to sell to them than just going to them and say, oh, we want you to help us do this and do this and do that. It's different from when you want to say, oh, great work you've been doing on this and this and this. We see that this and this. And we have this program that has the potential of pushing this and this further and achieving so and so results in this aspect if you focus on this. It's easy for you to get buy-in that way. It's tried, tested, and trusted. So sometimes you have to do the extra work of what is this particular government stakeholder I want to go to? What do they like? What are they invested in? What is their direction? And connect their direction to your project or whatever you're selling. The second thing, which is also very important, is that you need to be armed with the necessary information and data. Now, for instance, let's say somebody will give me an example of a project either they're working on or they would like to work on, quickly in the chat box so that we can use that as a focus group discussion. Okay, in chat box. Let me go there. Okay. Sustainable environmental practices and climate change. How do I mark attendance? Is that a project? Anyway, so sustainable environmental practices and climate change. I like that. Anyways, now, let's say this is in Plateau State, for instance. Now you're working on sustainable environmental practices and climate change in Plateau State. When you're talking about being armed with the necessary information and data, and you want to go to the government, now what are the data around how climate change is affecting people and how environmental practices has been harming people? There's a lot of, off the top of my head, I don't have exact figures about how people, crop yields, farming, all those things. How has it affected feeding in that state? How has it affected the income of people? Get the data. Okay, as 43% of farmers, their income reduced or something. Has it improved insecurity? Then also another thing that I always like people to go is how much investment are people, both the government and private bodies, how much have they given into whatever thing you're working on? So climate change and all that, what kind of, as the Plateau State government, have they funded climate change? What is the percentage of the funding in data, climate change projects, environmental sustainability, environmental issues? In the past 5 years, what is the data? What is the funding? What is the implementation level? Then what are you looking for in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What is your goal? So you being armed with necessary information and data is not just for what has been happening before, it's also for whatever you want to achieve. So you have to have specific data. For the next 5 years, this is what we want to see. This is what success would look like for us in exact ways. But this is what is on ground. So what that happens is that it makes you a thought leader in your field. It makes you look like you know what you're doing. It makes you trustworthy. And there's also another reason why that is important, but we'll get into that later. So you always have to do the tough work of being armed with the necessary information and data. A lot of people just always want to, okay, I'm passionate about this. I've read some few things about this. I've watched some things. I've gone to some events about this. So I'm capable to talk about this. You need to back up everything with data. Not just data, with knowledge. when you talk, let people feel like, yes, it's not just passion. You are fueled, you have knowledge about what you're talking about. Then it makes them feel like, okay, you are the best person to actually tackle this issue. And it's easy for them to buy in and trust that you actually do the work that you say you want to do. Now, the next thing that I'll say, and this is from a security angle sometimes. Not just security, also helps fast track whatever you're asking for. Go in groups, enlist help from other groups and associations. So most of the time in stakeholder engagement, you'll be holding a lot of visits. It might be all those visits that looks like you wouldn't achieve anything, or you just have to go and take pictures and all that for optics. But they're also important. It has the work that it does. But when you want to do things like this, go in groups, one, it helps with just not security. It helps people listen to you faster because now you are not just yourself. It shows that you have buy-in from other people. It shows that you are you're standing strongly. Now, it might be you and other groups and other associations that you've been able to bring forward to buy into your thing. Go with them when you're doing all these visits. Don't go alone. Let them see that there is a strong partnership. Government stakeholders, they not just like, sometimes they get intimidated and they listen to you more when they see that it's not just you, because they understand the power of people. So it's better to always find people that buy into, don't just be you. You are strong, you have strength in everything. But somebody else has strength in other things. Another organization has strength in other things. Maybe it's just community mobilization. Maybe it's just that another people, maybe they just know somebody, but enlist their help, work together. Collaboration might be one of the hardest things to do, but you'll just have to follow it through and work. Sometimes people will contribute, sometimes people will not contribute, but you always have to push through for it. Now, the fourth thing is be ready for malingering and develop tactics to counter it. It's a very tricky thing with government officials. I'll give you examples. Every time we've ever had to visit government officials, and this is someone that visits them a lot and listen to them talk. When they talk, you'll be like, okay, but why is Nigeria like this? If you people are smart, because they know how to say all the right things. They know what is going on. They tell you that, oh, yes, we know this, we know that, we've been doing this, we've been doing that, this and that. You almost, if you do not know, you will get carried away and be like, okay, I like this person, they're smart, they're interesting, and all that. Meanwhile, failure is their last name. Everything they've been doing, the policies and everything they've been pushing has been terrible. But they know all the good things to say. They know all the right things to say. They're smarter, way smarter than you believe they are. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by some of this chat. Anyways. Yeah, thank you. They are way smarter than you think they are. So if you go into the room with a government stakeholder thinking that you want to go and meet somebody that is not smart, or you want to meet somebody that is in quote a dunce, you have lost, because you will come out of that room feeling like the fool, and they will have played you, because all the things you were supposed to ask for, all the things you were supposed to have gotten, you will not get it because you were just carried away by all their fancy English, them knowing all the right things to say. So that is always that. You have to always be ready for it. Government officials, they know all the right things to say. They know how to distract you, and they know how to make you feel good when you go to them. So you have to always be ready for that and be ready to counter it. Really, they are saying all the good things they've done in their constituency, or in their ward, or in their anything. Really, they start saying, oh yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am. Yeah. But the thing is that this could also be, you have to be ready to push back. If you are not, you will just go waste your time, come back, waste your time, you not achieve anything. The next one is be respectful and professional. I cannot overemphasize that. And especially in a country that we are always hammering on respect, especially from the elderly ones, to we always want to use sir for everybody. You need to use sir from, use ma. Even if they look younger than you, use SAR for them, use MA for them, tell them, yes, you don't have to, I'm not saying that you should encode asleep. I'm saying that you should be respectful and professional. You don't have to always be up like, okay, running everywhere, like you're asking for money or doing anything. Just be respectful, be cautious and professional. They're almost there. The next one is follow up and persistent and be persistent. Yeah, follow up and persistent, but respect boundaries. I cannot overemphasize following up because it is 80% of the work you are always going to do with government stakeholders. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. You have to, you might pursue something for 3 years before you get it. And that's why there are some particular people that call themselves lobbyists. The only thing lobbyists do is to get what they want from government, but it is a full-time job for them. So it is a full-time job that you have to be prepared for. Following up is the major part of your work. Getting them to listen to you, great. You just enter the room. Now getting what you want involves a lot of persistence and follow-up. Now, the next thing is attend government events, conferences, and town halls. The power of networking cannot be underestimated. You meet people, you get to see what is going on, you get to know who is who, you get to make contact. This is important. In your line of work, you have to always look for events. You might have a small budget for event attendance, either virtually or physically. Look for events that are being hosted around the work you're doing, around your team, and ensure that you are always attending. Might not be every time, but at least attend once a month. You have to be able to put those are the places where you meet people, those are the places where you meet decision makers, those are the places where you will meet the people that are working with decision makers and know what is going on in your field. You cannot be an isolated, you cannot be in isolation and achieve success. The number 8 is stay informed and know when to penetrate with your course. This is a bit tricky. This is riding on waves. Now, there might be a time where what is in vogue. Okay, for instance, if you are an organization that is working around climate change, environmental stuff, when maybe a flooding issue happens in your state, and there's attention around flooding, especially from rain and all that, that is a great time to push your agenda like never before, because you have the opportunity, people are listening. There's always a lot of things taking the attention of people at every point in time. But when people are listening, people are paying attention to a particular issue. And luckily, it is your issue. That is the time to push and push and push and ride on that wave. So you do not lose that. That is the momentum you will gain from that time. You might not get it in another 5 years. You might not have that opportunity in another 5 years. And if you utilize that moment properly, it can launch you into the space, the skies, I would say. So know when things are happening, know when to ride on a wave and how to use that to penetrate with your course. It's not every wave you can ride on, but if it's a wave that fits into what you have been asking for, bam, move. That's always be able to spot that opportunity. The next one is, the next one is show appreciation. And showing appreciation is everybody likes to be, well, human beings. The president essentially stripped the president of all his titles and everything. He's a human being like me and you. Put him alone in a room with just me and you. You say that it's just a normal human being with feelings, with everything. And so where am I going to is that everybody has feelings. Everybody reacts like humans. So you have to know how to use that. Show appreciation. Once in a while, if you have their contact, if you have their, so just say, I want to say thank you. We saw you doing this, we saw you doing that. Be in their faces. Be in their faces. That's also another thing to be following up. Be in their faces. They might not be responding to you. You might be messaging them a lot of time and they're not responding to you. But the thing with messaging them with boundaries, and don't forget boundaries, the thing with always being in their faces, either by messaging, by letters, or by visit, even when they don't respond, is that when that opportunity comes up, when that thing that involves you or your work comes up and they need something and they remember and they want to take action and it's time to take action, you will come to their mind. It is called top of mind awareness in advertising and marketing. You are the one that will first come to your mind. Let me give an example. There are a lot of advertising that you see on the road, on social media, on your TV, for things that you don't need. But you're just watching, you don't pay attention. You're just watching, you don't pay attention. Maybe it's an advert for a shoe. You've always been seeing it. You've always been seeing it. The day you need to buy a shoe, maybe it's an advert for a man's shoe or an advert for a woman's shoe, and you don't pay attention. But you just watch. You see it, you watch, you see it, you pay. The day you need to buy a woman's shoe, maybe for a gift or something, guess what is good? Who is going to first come to your head? Okay, I called it top of mind awareness. It's called TOMA. Who is going to first come to your head is that person that has been advertising consistently that shoe that you have been seeing. And you just find yourself going there without being nudged. So the thing with persistence and being in their faces and follow up is that when it comes to the time they have to take action, they always have a lot of things on their table. When it now comes to the time they have to take action on that issue that is affecting you, you are the first person that will come to mind. You are the first person that they are going to see. So that is why it's important to always follow up. I think that I've been able to move. This other part of my slide is not for this class. So yeah, I'm just going to move to the questions part. Questions. Do you have questions? Do you have comments? Please, let's keep them coming. Thank you. Okay, I'm not hearing anything.
Hi guys, you only have Mr. MD for today, so you better ask your questions. And if you don't have questions, drop it in the chat box.
Okay.
I hear you, but I don't have questions. We have a few more minutes to the end of this session, so
Yes, try to stick to time.
thank you so much, Mr. Jamide, by the way. So I have question on behalf of everybody, since they don't want to ask questions. Some people are so interested in their attendance because their attendance is part
Yes,
of
I
their
remove that
competition
class finish.
requirements. So what if maybe I chose to do a project, say on, climate awareness, and I wanted to go into the market to speak to market women about climate awareness and keeping the waterways clean and all that. Who do I meet first, right, inside the market? Who do I meet and how do I go about it really? How do I set a date and all that? Please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you. So the thing is, like I said, the stakeholder mapping, you know that you need to go to a market. You go to a market, you speak with irregular people in the market. You speak with them on the issue. You get their thoughts, you get their opinions. It provides some clarity for you. Then you also now ask them who are the decision makers in the market. They are going to tell you, they are going to take you to them. But the thing is, before you go and meet the decision makers as well, you need to have clarity on what exactly you want. Um, Not just having clarity on what you should also have an open mind to what you might learn from them. There might be things that you will learn that make you change your direction or anything, but you need to go with clarity on what exactly you need. And you might not be able to meet them that day, you might be able to meet them that day, but it's just, and a lot of this work is about confidence, always going into the room to ask. Especially for young people coming up. I know that a lot of times we are scared to go into rooms, we are scared to ask for what we want. But see, we are here. I'm also a very young person. We are here, we belong here, you belong in any room. you belong, you are worthy of entering Aso Rock, and you don't need to justify anything for that. You're just a citizen of Nigeria and you're worthy to go there. So if you are worthy to go to Aso Rock just because you're a citizen, you can enter into any room. And the point is, and you can talk to anybody. Just, this is what I want. Ask questions, get them to listen to you. And a big part of getting them to listen to you is when you sound like you know what you are doing. People listen to you better, especially in a world where a lot of people don't know what they are doing. So the first key thing is always to know what you are doing. Like I said, be armed with the necessary information and data. When you sound like you know what you are doing, you've done the major part of your work. Somebody is asking that what are the major steps in stakeholder engagement and what's your questions? They're funny. Yeah, stakeholder engagement. I've said why it is important in project implementation. Project implementation is all about people. No matter it's just not even project, it's everything in the world. Everything in the world involves people. And people are stakeholders, basically. Everything in the world involves people. I want to eat just a meal that I want to eat. It involves a lot of people, somebody that has planted the food, somebody that has imported it, somebody that has gotten it here, somebody that has filled my gas. Everything we do in life involves people. This class we are doing involves people. This gadget we are using, so many things involves people. So when the person said, why is it important? The project stakeholders engagement is simply getting the people that matter to make your project a success buy into your project. Because if the people that are supposed to contribute to making your project a success don't buy into your project, then you're going to have a big problem. That's just the succinct response to that. Another thing is
Oh, that one is not for you. This one is program team related. I would attend to it. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I've answered the question. If you have any other question, let me know before the time is up. So Ijoma, your question, simple. Go to the market, ask for the decision makers, meet with the decision makers, put whatever you want to get on the table, get their decision. Forming relationships, meeting stakeholders is as simple as that. We've met governors by just writing letters to them and they'll call. It's as simple as that. And it's something you yourself can do. Send a letter to the governor's office, send a letter to local government chairman's office. They might not respond, they might respond. But if you don't send, how will you know? Always be ready to reach out. And we've gotten things like that. We sent out maybe 100 letters. Only 5 people responded. But the 5 people that responded is a huge progress in where we want to get to. And the publicity we'll get from the 5 people that responded will make the other people that did not respond want to get to speak to us. So always, how do you get to meet important people is as simple sometimes as just reaching out. Don't have to wait for one magical person that would introduce you or that would do something that before you get it. Yeah, somebody says, how easy does managing stakeholders is the one-sided project that is yet to have a good track record? Well, you keep managing them while you build your track record. It's as simple as that. If you want, and another thing that helps is that when they see that you know what you are doing and you just don't know what you are doing, you're knowledgeable about what you are doing, it helps people believe. Because every project, everything always has infancy stage. A company that is 50 years old today they were once 5 months old. And so what makes people believe that even though you are 1 month old today, you are going to do exploit is when they see that, one, you have the passion, you have the energy, and you have the knowledge. That is always important. Everybody always wants to support or back new creators. But what makes people back new creators? They need to see creators or inventors or innovators that know what they are doing, that are passionate, not just passionate, that have that knowledge. It's as simple as that. What if you wrote letter to the stakeholder and did not respond? What do? You write another letter, you do a follow-up visit, you post on social, you reach out to them on social media. There are so many ways that you can get attention. You exhaust all the possible ways you can get attention. If you don't get, you will try again. Like I said, you always have to be ready to be persistent with your follow-up. I think this person said, I think I have just 2 more questions to answer, please, so that we don't go off time. Someone said, what are the advantages of stakeholders? We talked about that. We've overflogged that. Next one is, if I'm planning to execute a project on providing medical care to less privileged children and women and underprivileged community as a humanitarian of a legally registered, who are your target stakeholders? Your target stakeholders, there are plenty, but the first ones, like you said, the children and the women in that community are your first major stakeholders. They are the ones you want to reach out to. You have to be able to, whatever medical care you are providing to them, and why they're your first is what they need. And you're just not assuming for them that this is what they need. That is one. Then 2, who are the other stakeholders? The community leaders, the people these people will listen to. You need the health workers as well. You need the buy-in of whoever, when you're holding the, what's it called? The outreach, the medical outreach. Who are the people that are going to provide logistics support? Who are the people that are going to provide security? Who are the people that are going to help you publicize the information? There's a lot of stakeholders. It's something that you sit down. Highlighting your stakeholders is as simple as sitting down and just wanting to draw a map or a list of who are the people, who is everybody that needs to be involved in this thing for it to become a success? From the lowest important person to the highest important person, who I use that one. Or from the least important person to the most important person. Who are the people? Is it up to the person that is going to sweep the ground that you use that day to set up? They are your stakeholder. Because if the person that is supposed to sweep the ground did not come and sweep the ground, you are going to have a problem. It's a small problem, but it's going to give you a headache as a project manager. So you need to be able to highlight your most important stakeholders. And it's as simple as, who is everybody that is going to contribute to make this thing successful. Everybody that is going, no matter how big or small their efforts are. It's just as simple as that. Thank you. I think, yeah, that's all. Somebody says PHCN should save their life. Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Emily. We appreciate your time, and I also appreciate the fact that you've taken a lot of your time to answer the questions, seamlessly in the chat. Thank you so much. So, yeah, we come to the end of this session with Ms. Ayomide. I know that a lot of us have different questions to the Leap Africa team, and I'm here to answer those questions. So I'm going to share my screen now. Please, in the chat box, before I go ahead, I want everyone to say thank you to Ms. Ayomide. I want to hear things. I want to see drum rolls. I want to see people clapping, because it's not easy to be here on a Friday evening telling us about stakeholders. Because even if you were to go out for Friday night, your stakeholders are the friends you're going outside with. But she's here telling you how to identify those people. So please, a round of applause for her. Yeah, I love that. I love it. Adeyemi, I'm so sorry. You can rewatch the video. I'm sure that your questions have been answered somewhere. I'm going to share my screen now, just so we are right on time. I'm going to share my screen, and there you're going to find a couple of information, especially around some of the things that you've been asking for. So as per usual, I will share, please give me a moment. I hope my laptop is hanging. But I'm going to share, first of all, the attendance sheet, and then I'm going to speak to a few other issues, a few other things that you may be needing to support you on the journey going forward. Please let me know when you can see my screen. All right. Okay, yeah, this is the attendance. I've also shared it in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and share it in the chat a couple more times. But if you can see my screen, you might as well take it from here. Too many things at the same time. but I believe you all can see my screen. bit.ly/YLDP stakeholder is the attendance link for today. Please mark your attendance. And then I'm going to the next issue, which is, so we identify that there are people who haven't formed their teams for the track that they would like to participate in, either in the sustainability track / change project track or the advocacy / debate track. If you have not yet gotten a team member, you've been asking, oh, what if I don't have a team member in my school, blah, 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 blah. We hear you, and we have made an opportunity for you to let us know that you don't have a team, and we'll be making sure to find a way to connect you with other students from your school who are also looking for team members. In this, with this link, right, you can also even tell us maybe your preference, or you want them to be in your department, or you want them to be in your faculty. I'm not assuring you that I will give you someone in your faculty, but we'll try our very best. I'm sorry. What's going on? We'll try our very best to pair you up, especially to someone in your school. We also realize that there are people who maybe are the only persons from their school who applied. There is a polytechnic now, I don't remember the name. I know that there are only 2 participants from that faculty. I would still encourage those 2 people to submit either a proposal for a change project or their debate video. Who knows, you might get in. And if you're the only person, I'd like to encourage you to still do something worth the while in your community. Think about it, submit a proposal, let's see it, let's encourage you. Even if you don't get the funding, we can always help you to support you in whatever way that we can to make sure that you do an impactful project, something that you will remember every time you think about this project with Leap Africa. So please and please, if you do not have a team, please make sure that you use this link. I've also dropped the link in the chat box. Make sure you use this link and let us know. We want to be able to start pairing you up with teams by the beginning of next week, because by the end of next week, we expect that you would now have a meeting with your team and come up with, I see that my network is a bit shaky. Please confirm that you can hear me, everyone. Please, can anyone hear or see me? Okay, fine. I think I'm back now. I was having a bit of a network challenge. Thank you so much. All right, as I was saying, by the beginning of next week, we will be, especially, please, if you know anybody who is part of this program and is probably missing this session, please let them go back or share this link with them. Make sure that they let us know that they don't have a team yet. We want to, by latest Tuesday next week, pair you up with people from your school, people from your locality, so that you guys can start brainstorming your change project or brainstorming the debate topic that you would like to speak about in your 5-minute pitch video. Please and please make sure that you're filling this out. It's going to be open till Monday. If you are not, if you haven't applied by Monday, I'm sorry, you might not be able to submit a proposal or a video page. So we will be making sure to use this to allow you all to register. And then, of course, the next link we'll be bringing out will be one where you will register all your team members, and it will be only the team leader. So, of course, once you form a team, you must have a leader for your team. So that team leader alone would now register the names of everyone in their team. For the sustainability track, you have the opportunity to have 3 to 5 people in your team only. If you have more than that, please, you might need to split it up, because we've seen along the line that people who have larger teams tend to not work well to get their work done, right? So we want smaller team, more interconnected teams, so that you understand each other, because you have a short time to do your project. So you don't want to be chasing everyone as team member number 9 did not show up for meetings. we gave this person a task to do and they're not doing it, the smaller the team, the easier it is to get everyone to get the job done. And for the advocacy track, you are only supposed to be two in a team. So by next week, when we're releasing that link, you're going to be telling us who your team members are, the names of the team lead and the deputy team lead, the names, phone numbers, and emails of all your team members in one application form. And then you will attach the proposal document or your video page, right? Depending on the track that you have chosen. Remember, you can only register for one. You can either register for sustainability track or advocacy track. You cannot register for both. Please beware. One thing I also like to say is, as you started to think about your change project, I'm speaking specifically for the change project. Gift Ashibobu, I see your message. I will respond to that. Thank you very much. As you start to think about your change project, I'm speaking now specifically for those on the sustainability track for your change project. Look at the SDGs. There are 17 SDGs. Which of these areas do I want to attack? For instance, I would like to attack SDG 4, which is quality education, right? What do I want to do in my community about quality education? Or maybe you want to think about it in the reverse order, which is, what is the problem in my community? And where does that problem fall? For instance, oh, I live next to a school. I see that the students in that school are sitting on the floor, and it's not good for their health. It's not good for them to learn properly. It doesn't show that we're giving quality education. Okay, so that means this problem is aligned to the SDG of quality education. So therefore, anything I'm going to design to solve that problem is going to have the fact that it's an SDG related thing, or is a quality education related problem. So in your proposal, you're telling me this is the problem. So you're giving me your problem statement. Please remember, we have shared in the past, in your program handbook, you have the sheet where you're supposed to submit your proposal. We will reshare that as well. So please follow the steps. Everything that you need to know is already done in that, or is already put for you in that document. Please follow it. Tell us the problem. Tell us how you want to solve it. Tell us the SDG that it is found in, and tell us who your stakeholders are, which is the reason we have brought up this session, to help you to understand your stakeholders. I see someone asking for the attendance link, so it's right here on my screen now. Thank you. Please make sure that you're listening to me. And then if you're submitting a video page for the advocacy/debate track, you're going to be doing a 5-minute video. And in that video, you and your team member are supposed to be in the video. What are you going to be talking about? Take one policy issue in Nigeria, for instance, student loans, right? Student loans are supposed to be a thing, or student loans are not supposed to be a thing. The government should give student loans to students in tertiary institutions in Nigeria, or the government shouldn't. I'm just suggesting this. I'm not saying that everyone has to say the same thing. You can look at any policy issue. It can be something about fuel subsidy. Look at the problems that are currently betiding us as a country and find one of those topics and speak to it. So you can decide that you and your team member want to speak in the affirmative or opposing that topic, right? And you do justice to it. You can have your first speaker speak for 3 minutes, you can have your second speaker speak for 2 minutes, depending on how you want to take it, right? But in a 5-minute video, or minimum 3 minutes video, please let us know your team's stance on your chosen topic. So of course, in the link you're going to send us to your video, you're going to name your team and name the topic, right, that you're speaking to. We're going to send you more steps on how to submit this by beginning of next week. Is going to be part of the emails you receive from us next week, right? I'm going to go back to the question by Ashibowu. What's the deadline for completing all your courses? We have given you that feedback before, and I'm giving it again. you're supposed to submit all your courses. For you to be eligible to submit a proposal that will, be considered, you must finish your courses on the LMS by the 4th of August. By the 4th of August. So we're going to close down the LMS in the morning of the 5th of August, right? You won't have access. We'll open it eventually. We'll open it after a week, right? But the thing is, anybody who hasn't finished before the 4th of August would not be eligible to get funding for either the change project or to make it into the debate rounds, and you won't be getting your data stipend. So it seems like all the data I've spent, I thought we said we were going to get data back. Yes, you will get your data back, provided you finish the course. And the deadline for the course is the 4th of August. Thank you very much. 4th, number 4, 4th of August, Sunday the 4th. By Sunday the 4th, you should be completing your course on the LMS. Please don't go beyond this point. Thank you so much. I believe that I have answered your questions. The attendance link is on the screen. bit.ly/YLDP stakeholder. Please go ahead and mark your attendance. I'm also going to repeat this. If you do not have a team yet, please let us know using the link on your screen, bit.ly/YLDP 2024 team placement. We will try to find you team members who are who want to sign up to the same track as yourself, and who probably fit your preferences. Maybe they're in your department or they are in the same level as you, if possible. And if it's not possible, we will fix you with whoever we see fit. Thank you very much. But if you already have your team, if you already decided on who your team is going to be, don't bother filling this link. We'll give you another link to fill where your team lead is going to tell us all the members of your team. Thank you very much for being with us. We are way past the time, and I hope that this has been an enjoyable session for you. Please feel free to go back to rewatch this on YouTube. It's live on YouTube, and we've also shared the slides for this session. You can go read up, and you can also go do your own research. Remember, this week we're going into is a week of research. Start to look out for problems, start to look out for policy issues that are plaguing us in Nigeria currently, and start to speak to those problems. It could be anything. Your idea counts. If you want to start a recycling chain, whatever it is you want to do, please just go all out, be as ambitious as possible with your change project. We don't want the regular. Be as ambitious as possible. As I say, look for the greatest problems. Even if we as Sleep Africa don't have money to fund you right now, rest assured that we want to put you on a global scale where you would actually get the type of support you need to solve the problems that are plaguing our country. Remember your change makers, and thank you so much. This is going to be, for now, the last learning session for Zoom. We might call a stakeholder meeting for all of you just to discuss any points that we think we see that you guys are talking about a lot on Telegram. We might want to just call a town hall meeting where we just talk. But for now, this is the last learning session. We have learned most of the things that you need to know for your change project or for your advocacy, your work in advocacy. So far, so good. We have learned about proposal writing, talked about stakeholder management, we talked about project management, talked about building debating skills, we've talked about critical thinking and logical reasoning. I don't recall what the last one is, but these are all topics that will help you in identifying what you need to do in your community, or in identifying how to speak about the issues. Thank you very much. Public speaking, about how to talk about all the issues that plague us as a country. Remember, we are going forward for the Nigeria that we want. Hashtag the Nigeria we want. That is what we are going for. We're going to give you steps on how to post your pitch videos online when the time comes. So for now, thank you very much. I remain your host, Ijoma Kalu, Program Coordinator for Leap Africa. And I am so glad that you're on the call today. Please let your friends know that this is where to be, and they have to finish on time. August 5th is the deadline still. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.